Welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Serpent, and I will say this, my voice is going, so I really hope that I can make it to the end of this. Italy have won the European Championships and we celebrated through the streets of Adelaide for hours and hours and hours, an incredible moment, but that's not why you're here. You're here to hear about XRP news. Now, FX Street kicks us off with an XRP price prediction. An impending bear cross keeps Ripple's downside exposed. While we have seen price movement, which is an exciting price movement, there is still, the risk is still there. Nothing's for certain. We're just warming up. Let's not get too excited. It is exciting, obviously, to see the prices go up, but we are definitely not out of the woodworks yet. Now, when we do look at the hourly chart, it is looking good. It is looking very good for an upside. But we still have a long way to go to get to 78, which is where that main point, the first point of resistance kicks in. So we gotta keep that in mind. Gotta keep that in mind. Now the XRP is forming a symmetric triangle. We know that on the 4 hour. The support is around 61 to 61.5 and a good area to open long positions with stop losses at 57. The resistance area being 66 to 70. Well, it's a little bit more than, the way Adnan has explained it here. But I think, 78 and above and consolidating above 78 is really where you're safe to say that we're going to continue and move the next leg up. But like Crypto Toes has put on here saying that we just broke out of here again. Too early. And again, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying be mindful and don't get too excited, because it is very easy to get very excited when it comes to things like this. Now, I am going to play this to you. It goes for about 30 seconds, and then we'll be back with my thoughts on what just happened here. Okay, so let's hear what he had to say.
Into U.S. sanctions, because if the U.S. is sanctioning you, you can't move money using that SWIFT system. So what's really interesting is, number one, they're creating a payment system that would go around SWIFT. But how do you do that when you have 5 major countries that all have their own currencies? And one of the ways they're doing that is by using possibly cryptocurrency to do that. That would translate their currencies into a single cryptocurrency that is then used through the system and then formulated, I guess, when it gets into their country, back into their own personal currency. So essentially you're taking currency from one, sending it through as a cryptocurrency, and then back on the other end into transforming it into another currency. And that allows them, again, to get around this SWIFT system in a way that no one had really thought about in the past, because crypto already has all of those things in place. Into U.S. sanctions, because if the...
I mean, I don't know about you, but that interview got me very excited, and he explains it really well. And we know we know what Ripple's mission has been all along, the years in the making, the partnerships that it's made, and everything around the world right now for this global reset, because there is too much debt out there in the world. We know it, you know it, I know it, everything is overinflated. But I think it's really interesting the simplicity in the way that he explained it and how it's going to work. And especially, obviously with the five nations having their own currency. So super exciting. And I think, now we're really going to start to build this momentum, and this momentum will be, this is the start. We're just warming up to this idea. And once this kicks in and XRP is that instant liquidity provider, it's going to be so exciting. We are in the phase of a monetary reset with at least 80 central banks around the world are looking at digital currencies. And it's coming regardless whether you or I react on it or not. That is the reality here. Whether you agree, whether you don't agree, whether you like XRP, whether you don't like XRP, it's coming. And it's coming whether you like it or whether you don't. It was similar to how when Apple started to take over, you could be the biggest Microsoft fan of all time, but it's coming. Same with the iPhone 3. The amount of people that told me that they were such loyal people to the Nokia brand, and I love Nokia, and I love the brand, and blah. The second iPhone 3 came out, boom, everybody ran away and went straight to the iPhone. So you can love it or hate it, but this is coming, and that's why I get excited to talk about a cryptocurrency like XRP, because they are the frontiers of this. That doesn't mean that there aren't others out there that are going to in the future try and do what XRP does, but that first mover's advantage and being so many years in it and so having such deep connections within the governments. That's what gets me really, really excited. So let's kick off when it comes to the indicators and what is going on at the moment, right? So when we look inside Atani's indicators and some of the things that I've put on here, when we look at the MACD on a daily level, we've noticed now that the gap is starting to widen. For the first time in quite some time, this gap is beginning to widen. Now, what could that do, right? It all depends on the momentum shift, right? Do we have a clear momentum shift up, or is this a fake out? I'm going to untraditionally say a pessimistic approach, and that pessimistic approach is that we potentially could be just facing a fake out, and then we will see a price retrace temporarily, not for too long, right? But it's important to understand, right? So from a MACD point of view, we've got here some very nice volume. Now, and we look at the hourly, even better, right? We were almost outside of the Bollinger Band. We're now back inside the Bollinger Band. Now, when we look at the 4 hour, the 4 hour has exploded with volume. And when we look at the 12 hour, the 12 hour has gone back into this bullish trend. Now, it is counterintuitive what I'm saying, because, you know, when you see all these greens and all these signals taking off, you think, well, hang on a minute, Serpent, why then are you saying that we could still be going down? The thing is, prepare for the worst, and then if it doesn't happen, great. And that's probably the key message here today. The key message is to prepare for the worst, right? So the worst case scenario is that all these green and indicators were just simply a fake, and then we're going to go down, and then we will come back up. The worst thing that you can do is get overconfident in these particular scenarios, because we still have not broken above 78. We could potentially touch 78 and then come back down. And so precaution on the way down and precaution on the way up when you don't have a clear move. We don't have a clear move yet. 78, touch 78 and go above it, then we will have a very, very clean move. Let's have a look at some drawings. This probably paints a really, really good picture. So when we look at this and we look at the Fibonacci levels here, we can see that the 78.6 is sitting at around 66 cents. And, you know, right now we're sitting at the time of making this, we are at 64.62. And so we haven't even hit that yet. And then above that as well, right? So we must, you know, Precaution is the best, and patience are the two key assets when it comes to trading and buying. Now, from a Bitcoin point of view right now, where we're at, if the Bitcoin does make another drop, then it will go down to, like, say 32 and then continue and then go up and off it goes. You know, the talks about the 20s, like I've mentioned, as much as the threat was real, I just see so much volume at 30 that I really, really struggle to find that it will break from it. As we look towards the future and we look at what happened back in 2017, you see these two here, they're very similar right now. And the pattern that could potentially follow, right, when we look at this particular trends and what could happen right now, if this were to come true, then we would go from where we are now to maybe say $1.60, then come back down again, then $1.60, then sort of come back down, and then we will explode. Of course, you know, the past does leave clues, but it's not always, you know, 100%. It's not always, you know, clear cut. But it does leave clues, and this is very similar, you know, very similar. You can draw comparisons. And of course, you know, when it comes to drawings, you can you know, do any comparison. But that does look pretty good to me. It does look very, very good. So 75 needs to be broken, 90 cents, and then $1. We need this upward trend targets, you know, if this upward trend is to continue, then 75, 90 cents, and $1. They are the key three major points that we will be looking for. $1.01 or $1 flat, really, is a major resistance line, and so we will pay close attention to how we go with that. But the future does look bright. The future of you know, the world's all using one crypto for its instant liquidity. 80 banks are all on the same mission at the moment. It's looking, you know, it's looking very much like Italy throughout this European Championship. You know, at the beginning of the championship, no one had any hope of Italy winning the whole thing, and I think XRP could be heading, way past its previous 330 onto to 14, and then consolidate to around $5, which will be an absolute amazing joy for me to bring you on the channel. So if you learned something new today, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thank you, and I look forward to see you on the next one.